back to Davin Biology. So in this video, we'll be going through Form 5, Chapter 11, Inheritance of Blood Group. So let's say, like, if your father is blood group AB and your mother is O, why their children could be blood group A and B, which is totally different compared to their parents. Yeah, so this video we'll learn how is that actually possible. So first you're going to know, right, like for my students, we already mentioned this. Our genes, they all actually come in pairs because genes, they are found in chromosomes, whereby by now you should know humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Chromosome all comes in pairs, okay, and the genes are inside them. So every chromosomes basically have, every pairs of chromosomes actually have different genes. So for example, the chromosome that carries blood group gene, they are actually found in chromosome number 9. Okay, so let's say the blood group gene is over here. Now, unlike other genes that we learned previously, right, which only have one dominant and one recessive allele, whereby dominant we use capital letter to represent them, recessive we use small letter. So let's say previously we have big T, small t, we have big B, small b. Let's say like this represents your hair color, this represents your eye color, for example. But when it comes to blood group gene, right, there are actually total of 3 alleles, which are, we write it in the form of IA like that, IB, and IO. So there are a total of 3 alleles. Hence, right, blood group genes, as you can see in my notes here, they are known as multiple alleles. Whereby it says here means that there are more than 2 possible alleles in the gene that controls a specific characteristics, a specific trait. Now, however, even with 3 alleles, right, only 2 alleles can be present at one time. Okay, a person only produces 2 alleles to determine their blood group. Is because since you only have a pair of genes, you only can fit 2 alleles inside here. It's like, let's say you have 3 people, but you only have 2 seats. So of these 3 people, only 2 can occupy these 2 seats. Exactly the same over here. Okay, so our allele IA and IB, which is A and B, they are known as the dominant alleles. Yes, we have 2 dominant alleles, and O is recessive, we should only have 1. So they say here, AB can exist as co-dominant, meaning if a pair of genes have allele A and B, right, they can be both dominant at the same time and both show their characteristics, hence giving me the blood group AB. Okay, but however, if a person have A and O present in a gene, just like we learned previously, you have a dominant and recessive, you only will show the dominant trait. So hence this person will be a blood group A. And then since O is a recessive trait, if a person wants to be blood group O, he must have both IO present in the gene. Understand? So as you can see here, for blood group, for all the different blood group, right, here are the different possible genotypes. So for blood group A, since it's a dominant trait, you can be either AA or AO, 2 dominant or 1 dominant, 1 recessive. So as we mentioned already previously, IA, both are the same allele. We will call this as a homozygote. Okay, homo means like one type of allele. IO, you have 1 dominant, 1 recessive, both are different because it's heterozygote. So the same thing goes to B. You can be dominant, BB. You can be dominant, recessive, you are still blood group B. So for AB, we just discussed, you must be IB. O must be IO. Okay, then now the first thing we're going to go through first, right, is something you all learned in Form 4, Chapter 10 before, but I just want to mention one more time is the blood donation punya concept, like who can donate to who and all those. So most of you should remember that A and B, they don't like each other, right? You can't donate blood to among each other. Okay, that's because every single blood group, you have something called antigens. So blood group A, right, you have antigen A on your red blood cells. Blood group B individuals have something called antigen B on their red blood cells. So think of antigen is like your name tag, like that, your identity like that. So of course, blood group A have antigen A, blood group B have antigen B. And A and B, they hit each other. See, blood group A people can produce antibody B, then blood group B people can produce antibody A. So here comes the most common question. Why blood group A cannot donate to B? Whenever you see this kind of question, and who cannot donate to who or who can donate to who, you can try to always picture this. A donate to B right now. So always look from the recipient's perspective. Does this recipient have the antibody to attack this person's blood or not? So blood group B have antibody A. Yes, he has the antibody which can attack the antigen A. So obviously the B cannot receive A because the blood is going to fight. So I would say it's because blood group B has antibody A. So when the B fella receives the A punya blood, this is what's going to happen. The antibody is going to act on the antigen. So yeah, we don't say we use the word attack. We say the antibody A will act, not attack, on the antigen A of the blood group A. So when the antibody act on the antigen, you can see your blood, all the red blood cells basically will like clump up together, stick together. So this is what we call as agglutination. Will occur in the blood group B punya blood. His antibody will fight with the blood group A that he received, and then the blood will clot like that. So when this happens, right, your blood basically become from like fluid, because like jelly, that cannot flow anymore, and then this person will definitely die. Alright? Now, some of you will ask this. Can I say the antibody B is going to act on the antigen B? Okay, the answer is no. Because right now, A is donating to B. As I told you just now, you must look from the recipient's perspective. Because when... Okay, now we are donating A to B. When you're donating blood to someone, right, you don't donate the antibody, remember. Because when you donate blood, you are only donating the red blood cells. When you donate blood, right, the lab will remove the blood plasma and the antibody, and you will be donating the red blood cell to the recipient only. So hence, this A is not going to donate the anti-B. So this further is irrelevant anymore. So you cannot say the anti-B act on the antigen B. It is wrong. Alright, so let's discuss a bit about blood group A, B, and O. So A, B, you should know they are called universal recipient. They can receive blood from everybody. That's because they don't have any antibody. So everybody can donate to them, and AB can receive all of their blood. Now, even you can see there's anti-B, anti-A, anti-AB that can act on the antigens. But remember, you donate blood, you don't donate antibody. So they are irrelevant in this case. Same like this donor here, you can see O is universal donor because they don't have any antigen. So when they enter everybody's body, their antibody has nothing to act on. That's why they can donate to everybody. However, this thing is not relevant at the same time. That's why you don't have to look at this anti-A and B. They can donate to everyone because I donate to them, I don't donate this thing. Okay, and that's the reason why O can only receive from O. Since they have anti-A and B, whoever donates to them, the antibody will act on the antigen. Okay, so O and AB, they are the valid one. Right? So now, let's talk about the inheritance of the blood group. Okay, so when questioned, say a person is blood group A, how to determine whether they are AA or AO, right, is by reading the question. You must see carefully whether they're saying homozygote or heterozygote. So if it's hetero, it's definitely two different. One dominant recessive, so that means AO. If it's homo, then definitely it's AA. Okay, so let's look at this example. So this example just now earlier in the video we mentioned, let's say father is blood group AB, mother is blood group O. So question will usually ask, what is the possible children they can get? Okay, so we're going to draw something called the schematic diagram out. So first we're going to write something called parent genotype. So genotype means the combination of the genes. So AB, there's only one possible genotype, A and IB. So we're going to circle this up. You always must circle the genotype. And then O will be only IO because O is recessive. Alright? And then the next step is meiosis. So you got to show like what kind of gametes they can produce. So during meiosis, father can produce a sperm that's carrying IA, father can produce an ovum that's carrying a sperm carrying IA and a sperm carrying IB. Mother can only produce one kind of ovum, both will be IO. Okay, so this is their gametes, the sperm of the father and the mother. So now we're going to like cross them, like what kind of sperm can fertilize what kind of ovum. So you can always like draw an imaginary line in between, meaning to say whenever you cross, you're going to cross this over this line. Like how can you going to match these two? There's like sperm fertilize sperm, that's not possible. So for example, this sperm have a chance to fertilize with this ovum to give me a child with IA, IO, and it also have a chance to fertilize the other ovum, the same ovum, same one actually, same gene. give me IAIO, so lah. And the other sperm with the B1 have a chance to fertilize this to give me IB, IO, and yeah, same goes to the other one, IB, IO. So here you're going to write as F1, stands for filial. Filial means your child, genotype. And here you write F1 phenotype. So phenotype is what is the characteristics shown. So AO is blood group A lah, both of these are the same because this is dominant, right? So you can follow the dominant one. And the blood group B for the other one lah. So as we mentioned earlier in this video, it's possible to have a child that has totally different blood group than the parents, as you can see here. The inheritance punya diagram, the schematic diagram, actually show you that if father is AB, mother is O, child could be A or B. There's only two possible child you can get here. If your child come out is O, definitely this child is you pick him up somewhere one. Understand? So there's only A and B. Cannot be AB, cannot be O, definitely. Okay. So right now, let's try one example question. We look at question 5. Okay, so the first question is they ask us to complete diagram 2.1 to show the possible genotypes of P and Q. So A, this one just now we say already one. So blood group A, you can be homo, you can be hetero. So homo, AA, hetero, AO. And B is the same as B. O, you only have one possibility lah. Okay. The next one, okay, I still give you the answer here. Explain the meaning of multiple alleles. So blood group is multiple allele because there are more than two possible alleles that determine a trait. So blood group have more than two possible traits. Other than just one dominant, one recessive, you have two dominant, one recessive. However, the second point I must say this, however, only two alleles can be present in a gene. Then you only get one dominant, one recessive, or two dominant, or two recessive, that's it. Okay, so you can pause and write this down. Now next, state the two codominant allele, easy peasy, IA and IO lah. Next, what determines blood group AB? So if a person's blood group AB, what caused him to be AB is because he has the allele A and B. Oops, I'm so sorry, this is B. Yes. I should realize that. So next one, what determines blood group AB? So you can say this allele IA and IB. And then we say this law, which can coexist, or not coexist, which can exist as codominant. Means they can be both dominant at the same time and both show their characteristics. Good. So yeah, write this down. Then next one, okay, a schematic diagram we have here, whereby they ask us to complete the diagram 2.2 to show the alleles of the gametes and the genotypes of offspring. If the father is A, mother is B. So we have a heterozygous father here, AO, homozygous B mother. So the gametes will be IA, IO, mother will be IB. So by the way, actually there's a shortcut here. If a parent is a homozygous, right, the gamete you can just write one can already. Because unlike just now, I draw just now, right, you can see there's like two repeat punya genotype. So you can just write one time, so you won't have so many answers. It's much more cleaner lah, the diagram. So then you repeat the same thing so many times. Like you can see, I'll get one IA, IB child, and one IB, IO child. Yeah, always write the dominant one first. Then only the recessive. So one child will be IA, IB, one will be IB, IO. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing just now. Oh my god, so sorry. So just now this diagram, right? Sometimes it will ask you something called the phenotype ratio. Yeah, so we can say the ratio A to B is equals to 1 to 1. Right? So actually if I just write 1 O, right? Yeah, you get the same thing also. So that's why if it's two the same, you can just write one time. It's the same thing lah. Yeah, so for this one, the ratio, you only have AB and B. So the ratio for AB to B will be 1 to 1. So for the ratio in blood group, right, you only need to write the ratio of the blood group that is present. So there's no A, there's no O, so we don't have to include it in a ratio over here. Same with our thing over here just now. Understand? And yeah, explain why people with blood group O are known as universal donor. Okay, number one, very easy, because they can donate to everyone. So we're going to say because they can donate blood to all other blood groups. The reason being is because blood group O, nobody can detect them. So if they go in anybody's body, nobody can act on them, nobody can see them because they don't have antigen, no name tag, nobody can recognize them, remember? So because blood group O, red blood cells, do not contain antigen A and B. A or B, either one also don't have. So therefore, agglutination will not occur in all the other recipients. Okay, so if you don't have any antigen, no name tag, no antibody can act on you, so other people punya body won't have agglutination, won't have blood clot, they won't die. Okay, so you can pause and write this. And one final question here, we're going to do, very easy one also. So here we have blood group A, Ali, blood group B, the wife, Aisha. So here they ask me to write the parents' genotype in the space provided. Now don't be so quick and write, oh, A, here I can write IA, IB, IB. We don't know they are homo or heterozygous. Now for this kind of question, right, usually you see their children because the question also here didn't say homo or hetero. So for blood group or any other inheritance will say, right, sometimes they'll give you one children punya trait. So that children will help you determine their genotype over here. So you can see there's one blood group O punya children. So blood group O means IO, right? Meaning I know that there's at least two gametes, one from each parent that have this IO. Because sperm IO, ovum IO, combined then only can have this IO punya child, right? Which means I know each of these parents have at least one O allele. And since they are A and B, which are both dominant traits, right, they must have one A and one B. And therefore, I know their genotype. Well, they are actually heterozygous. So their gametes, the other one also will be A, the other one also will be B. So if I do the whole complete schematic diagram cross, right, I'll get AB punya child, AO punya child, BO punya child, which is A and B lah. So this couple, right, you can see will have all the blood group. Every single blood group is possible in their children. Right, so if AO and BO gets married, right, they have possible chance to get AB punya child, blood group A punya child, blood group B punya child, blood group O punya child. So anything is possible. So that's like the fun thing about blood group. Yeah, so write their genotype, we already done, we write AO, BO. Write the genotype of gametes in the circle. So this one we've done already lah. Now, the last question here. How the offspring inherits blood group O? So this is a very common question in this chapter. Inheritance. That is what this chapter is about. Means how a children inherit something from their parents. Now, this is how we're going to do this question. It's fixed to you. Number one, right, we always talk about meiosis first. Because you're going to mention about their gametes. So you must mention because of meiosis, they can produce which gametes first. Then because these two gametes, sperm and ovum, can be produced, they can fertilize to give me this gene. Okay, for example, I will say here, okay, first we say meiosis. During meiosis, both parents are able to produce gamete with allele IO. You can see that, right? Both can produce IO. So I talk about IO can already because the question one O only ma. So how do I get O child? Because both parents can have sperm with O and ovum with O. So if both parents can produce this, meaning this sperm and ovum that carry O have a chance to fertilize. There's a probability. You can see 1 out of 4 chance here, 25% chance, right? So I say that kalau fertilization occur between these two gametes containing the IO, the sperm and the ovum, they fertilize, then I will have a child that's blood group O. So this is how we answer like inheritance. If the question asks how a child inherit AB, then I will say, oh, because the father can produce sperm with IA, mother produce the ovum with IB. Then if fertilization occur between gamete with IA and IB, then you got blood group AB. So you just need to change your gamete with A and B fertilized. Same method, right? Okay. So once you're done with the question, then actually that's it for this video. So that's how the inheritance of blood group works. Also, you understand now already like why a parent's certain blood group, children can be totally different. Alright, so as always, if you have any question, you can DM me at my Instagram, Davin Biology, or even also ask me at the comments below lah. And see you guys in the next reel soon lah. Bye bye.